shocking is the best way to describe it. And ultimately, Brent Key had to know this day would come, and he and Buster Faulkner are really good friends. So clearly, he hasn't been blindsided. But for us outside of the building, Buster Faulkner, offensive coordinator for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, now leaving the program to go to the University of Florida to call plays. And look, you're leaving the ACC and you're going to the SEC. You can understand that. You're still clearly have aspirations of having a head coaching position. So there's that. But after the incredible run,
right,
and one of the final coaches after all of the coaching replacements and offensive coordinators who have been installed in the new programs around the nation, now to be in a position where Brent Key has to go find another offensive coordinator where a lot of coaches have been scooped up, and now he's got to figure out what is best for his program right now, the future, and for his quarterback, Aaron Philo.
Yeah, Chris Winke's been his quarterback coach for quite some time now. You wonder, does he have interest in calling plays? Is that as simple as elevate a guy from QB coach to offensive coordinator? Is it go look outside and try to find somebody, who does Brent Key have relationships with around? OC becomes a really important hire. And what I found interesting, it didn't feel like it was about money, because everything I read yesterday was Georgia Tech was willing to match whatever Buster Faulkner was going to get at the University of Florida. So I think for Faulkner, and this is just me kind of guessing a little bit, I think it had to do with simply, let's go to the SEC to maybe elevate my profile even more than it already is. Remember, he's coached in the SEC at Georgia at a lower level as a position coach. Go see if he can help jumpstart a Florida program that has been in disarray for some years. And if you can, you're probably next in line in a year or two to end up being a head coach somewhere around the country.
So you look at now what has been left, the ability to take a special quarterback like Haynes King and use his legs and his arms, and now the conversion of what the Georgia Tech offense, and you were going to have some changes. You brought it up, John, because Aaron Philo is not Haynes King. Right. So you're going to have a change in the offense anyway, but now going outside of the room and the uncertainty, and then the way that things have finished for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, where things, just didn't go the way you wanted it to, there are going to be a lot of questions going into next year.
You can do a lot of the stuff you did with Haynes King, with Aaron Philo. The guy's a big kid, 6'2", 220.
Right.
I think the game he started last year against NC State, rushed the ball 7 times effectively for 57 yards. Didn't throw it necessarily great, but that's to be expected when you get your first start as a young kid. So I just remember sitting there and looking at Brent Key's face when he talked about Aaron Philo,
right,
and how excited he was about having a kid on the roster that stuck around and has the abilities that he has.
Who'd we have online? Was it Roddy Jones last week when we were talking about getting ready for the Georgia Tech-Georgia game, and he even mentioned the NIL situation at Georgia Tech and how Haynes King leaving because they were paying, allegedly, and I don't know the numbers, but a lot of money for both the quarterbacks, that somebody like Haynes King leaving can maybe open up NIL money for other positions to help the defensive side of the ball, which clearly needs some help to get right for them to elevate to where they're at. It just becomes important for Brent Key to keep momentum. Now, I can speak for myself. I trust Coach Key. What I have seen is a guy that's going to go about things the right way, and you have an upward trajectory. But that upward trajectory could change very, very quickly if you don't nail this hire and get the right guy in to keep your offensive momentum going.
Obviously, there's a desk with names on it, and Brent Key knew that Buster Faulkner was going to leave one day, so he's got some guys clearly he would want to call. Question is, are they gone now? Have they been already scooped up with all of the coaching changes around the college football landscape?
I don't think OC necessarily, because we haven't really, and again, I don't pay attention to who is getting hired at every OC position. OC is one you can find somebody. It's not head coach. Which is interesting. By the way, my next life when I come back, I do want to be a head football coach where you can fail and get another job in like a month. Like Billy Napier was a disaster and got a new job in less than a month.
Well, you are a coach when you play in Madden, so you already have lived out your reincarnated
I'm a
dreams.
coach as well in AAU, but nobody's running to Hoops United to come hire me.
That's a real coach, though. That's the real coach. I'm talking about your football acumen.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, only in college football can you fail, get fired, and within like a month have a new job making money.
Well, people like people with experience.
Dude. There's a lot that goes into it, and you have to have history.
I got you.
And everything, and connections. It's not like he doesn't know football.
Didn't seem like it at Florida.
Yeah, well, I think you are a hater.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Billy Napier, I wish he would have stayed in Florida 10 more years.
Where does that happen in the NFL? It happens at every level.
I know, but it just when it's a multi-million-dollar profession,
right?
And you get fired, and literally the ink hasn't dried on the new guy's contract, and you've got yourself a new job.
Well, one thing, though, about college, well, the emotions do play a big part of it. What boosters are feeling, the tidal wave of negativity, that does make a difference in the college game. And we'll find out if DJ Lagway stays. We're going to find out if it was all on Billy Napier or if the quarterback just isn't disciplined enough to play 4 quarters of football to help him win.
I thought he was a little overweight. He's one of those 5-star kids that played at a smaller high school, and it always felt like the game was too fast for him. He just didn't seem to process. When they played LSU this year, it must have looked like LSU had 18 people on defense. So I think part of it had to do with they hitched their wagon to DJ Lagway. But can Buster Faulkner fix
Can a coach fix something like that?
Yes, because remember, Haynes King was run out. Haynes King was a 5-star quarterback and did not fit at Texas A&M.
Dude, he broke every bone in his body at Texas A&M.
He also, when he was a quarterback, he wasn't that good.
Listen, I've heard Jimbo Fisher, who recruited the kid and coached him at Texas A&M, talk about him and the stuff that he did and was capable of, and also talk about the crazy freak injuries that he had at A&M, which were unfortunate. I think Haynes King has always been a very viable quarterback, depending on what kind of system you put him in.
Yeah, I was going to say, but the last year, and granted, he only played 6 games.
Exactly.
He completed 55% of his passes with 8 interceptions and 7 touchdowns.
Right.
So
60 at A&M in the SEC.
Okay. I mean,
banged up.
He looked like a totally different coach or quarterback, and maybe that has to do with the system fitting him better.
Listen, kudos to Buster Faulkner.
Right.
Maybe he's the babe, the boy.
We're gonna find out.
If he can do what he can do with Lagway, if he can do what he did with this kid,
right,
with Lagway, like he did with Haynes King, forget about it.